All right, welcome to the Desmond Show. This is a new podcast. We're going to talk about money, business, and personal development. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Sean Tan.
Yeah, welcome. Hi.
So, Mr. Sean, I heard you have a lot of experiences in property. So today's topic, we're going to talk about property from the money perspective because my audience, as I said, they only care about one thing, how they can make money from current situation, making money from real estate. Obviously, real estate is one of the most valuable hard asset that you can put money into. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, let me just promote you a little bit. You have a very interesting YouTube channel, so I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Right? So before that, let's talk about your background first. Well, how did you end up doing a YouTube channel reviewing property, condominium mostly, if I'm correct, and how you got into the real estate as a whole?
Okay. So let me start by my degree. So I'm actually trained as an architect. So I draw.
Okay.
Then I was drawing toilets, mainly toilets, for 6 months. So I'm like a specialist in toilet design. So, but before that, so when I tried to further my studies in masters, then I didn't have enough money. Then what I did is to look for ways on how to actually gather more wealth to pay myself through my masters. Unfortunately, like part-time job is not going to do it. So what I did is I got to know like agents. So once I graduate, right, I didn't know I need to have a cert as well to actually sell and transact buildings. So what I did is I followed my aunt and I transacted a factory illegally in that sense because those days there's no certification required for agents.
Right.
So I sold my first factory in a matter of days. I think iProperty then was like almost zero cost.
Okay.
It was almost free.
So you sold the property on iProperty?
Yeah. And everyone else was selling houses and stuff like that. I straight away transacted a factory.
So you're saying that you were leveraging the internet to source for leads?
Yeah.
Wow, and you closed a factory deal, and one of the harder deal too, I assume.
Yeah.
Factories are difficult to sell.
And cool fact, you post that day and you close on that same day.
Wow, okay.
So at that moment of time, right, you were like, you received a check of 2%. You're like, why in the world people work?
Right.
Because it was very lucrative, very handsome kind of fee. And then after that, I did that for 6 to 8 months. I realized that I wanted to sell complex. I want to sell land. I didn't know how. So I furthered my studies in Masters of Real Estate in University Malaysia, homebred. Then only I know my classmates are actually transacting hotels, transacting shopping malls.
Damn, those are big deals.
Yeah, so after that, then only like, oh, this is a whole different magic. But I then realized that money is not the driving force for me, although you have all those kind of fees and all. But then I'm more of a knowledge crave. Then I joined one of the developers, Sunway. So I was with Sunway for 6 years from ground zero. So I was just telling just now backstage, when I started, I was pouring concrete at site.
Wow.
Laying all the bricks.
Wait, so what were you doing at Sunway? You were not doing their sales, you were doing their architectural stuff.
So I was 9 departments in a developer.
Okay,
office.
you're working in 9 departments.
Okay. So that includes the internal audit, construction, planning, project management, marketing, social media. Then I left with one project in mind where I managed to launch the website where people get to customize and purchase online.
Wow.
So we just got the Guinness record like a few days back. They recognized that we are the first platform to allow people to customize their building before actually buying them.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So after that, then I need to get married. So I need to travel back from JB. I was in JB for 4 years. So we were the one that developed 2,000 acres.
Wow, okay.
Then we came
and this
back.
is Sunway project lah.
Yeah,
okay.
this is Sunway Iskandar. Then I came back to KL. So I left the agency 10 years ago and I come back hoping that it changed. It's still the same old. So I was quite sad. Then I started marketing using social media, Facebook.
Right.
So in 1.5 years, I helped my team. So I generate leads for them on marketing. I sold 180 over apartments.
Okay, and this is Facebook ads?
Yes.
Okay.
Purely Facebook ads.
I'm assuming you're one of the first few to do this, yeah?
Yeah.
Because, it got really popular the last 2 years.
Yeah, so
super saturated now.
Yeah. So I was using videos and I was flying drones and things like that. So at that moment of time, investors with 17 properties, 20 properties, 25 properties are coming to me asking questions like, Sean, would you invest in BBCC? Would you invest in TRX? All those like 2,000 to 3,000 per square feet kind of projects.
Right.
Then I'm like, you are already there, 18 to 20 properties already. But when I go back home, my neighbors consist of 5 family members.
Yeah.
Couldn't even make the rent by the end of the month.
Okay.
So I was there wondering, what's the gap? Like 5, all full working people can't even afford to pay rent. But these people are owning 18 to 25 different properties, and they are actually going for more.
Right.
So, so what can I do? Like, it's a very bubbly thing where you talk about economics, you talk about these very bigs and politics and stuff. So I wanted to do my part, and I started a channel. So the channel initially started with a webcam, where it's right at my chin. Then, this is not very pleasing to the eye, lah. But then after that, when I first go out to the first property visit, because of my background, I used to check for defects. So I thought of using that first episode to teach people what do you actually observe when you go and shop for a property.
Yeah.
So if you want to check for the quality, or you just need to specifically look at joints, then I think it will be fine. Then that turned out to be like a review kind of journey. And those days, I need to actually pull strings so agents will let me film for them. I need to buy them lunch, I need to bring them out, so I get to market for them.
Okay.
But so until episode 26, I still remember there was an audience that emailed me already that thanked me because normal Malaysians still need to work from Monday to Saturday. Sunday is family day and chores day.
Yeah.
So where in the world they find time to actually visit sales galleries? And then when they want to visit sales galleries on weekdays, they are closed after 7.
Right.
So they have no chance and no access at all to everything. And if they really decide they want to go for courses, end up it's all sales gimmicks, and they end up buying things that they don't even know they need to buy and stuff like that. So with that only, I know I kind of find my direction that, I'm providing convenience. At the same time, you get to travel and see what do you really like. Because if I always see property investment, right, it's somewhat like marriage.
Yep.
If you're lucky, you get married once. Let's hope it's once, not twice or 3 times. But then property as well. Most of us, we just buy 1 or 2, that's about it. How many of us can actually buy 18 to 20?
Yep.
So in deciding which to buy, right, that caused the hesitation in putting in the money. Even all the statistics shows that it's a good buy, you still have that hesitation and things like that. Yeah, so on a personal experience, myself, one of my investment also turned sour, really bad. So I kind of experienced where every month I can't pay installment as well. So I receive letters from the banks and stuff like that. So those are the scary part that a lot of new investors have no clue. Everyone only tell you the good side, they tell you all the pretty pictures, but then these are the things that you need to know. So my take is, if you know the worst part to the investment, that's the worst really. So if you are okay with the worst, right, it can only get better.
Right.
Yes.
So what's interesting was that you're sharing that, you're talking about your neighbor with 5 members in the family. They were all working adults.
Yeah.
They're making money, but they can't afford to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Then there are certain people where they have 18, 19 properties, they're super wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know them both. What a big difference? Is it because they know different things or they do different things?
I think it's a mindset thing. You look at those 5 members, the way they dress, the way they dine, the shoes that they are wearing, the watches that they are wearing, flashings. But then if you look into the investors, so every now and then some of this audience actually do come and look for me. They take train.
Wow.
They take their Beza, nothing flashy, but if you just look at them walking past, right, you don't even know that they are 18 to 20 properties.
Right.
And they are super down to earth, and they are super hungry. Like I just received a phone call before I reach here. It's like, I have a project in Sentul right now. I'm in front of the agreement. Do you think I should sign?
Wow.
Yeah, so they are constantly still going. I think they are 55, 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop because I think it's really, as you say, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Right. But let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel. So basically, your YouTube channel, what you do is that The simplest way, if you have not watched Sean's channel, is essentially very simple. You basically go into a lot of these condominiums.
Yep.
You go into the units, you go into the rec centers, you go into the public area, you go into the guardhouse, everywhere, including the bathroom. And you will film and you will check for defects, check what's wrong, and then you will say this is good, this is bad, and you go very realistic way of explaining the property. Because most agents today, now I love property agents, I think they're good hustlers, great mentality, but here's the problem, they only talk about the positive side. And as you mentioned, going to a sales gallery, they close at 7. I am a property investor myself, but one of the things I hate about going to a sales gallery is it's like you are a chicken going into going to a room full of vultures.
Yeah.
They are just trying to peck at you, trying to imagine that 4 or 5 agents going at you, telling you, oh, you should buy this, and it becomes really messy, and it's not a great experience. I always say that people like to buy stuff, and they need to buy stuff, but they don't like to be sold stuff.
True.
Right?
True.
So that's why I think the property gallery gimmick is very, very difficult to make it work. That's why for an investor, they can actually watch a video, or upcoming investor, they can watch a video, get a little bit of an idea what it's like before they actually do a site visit to go to that area. Right? And because you do all the hard work. Like, I don't know about you, I've done those site visits before because I wanted to invest in the property. It's the most unpleasant experience. I sweat very easily. Like I prefer cold weather over warm weather. And every single time I go to this public area, my whole shirt is just drenched with sweat.
Yeah,
and it's unpleasant, and sometimes we have to wait for the guard to open this, and it's just annoying. So you made that part very, very easy, right? But what really got you to push forward with this? Because I don't think anyone in Malaysia is doing videos like that on YouTube. What got you the push and the motivation to do it? Even though maybe your first few videos, I assume you're not probably getting a lot of views. Yeah. Right?
So I realized that by having all those knowledge during the developer days, every day my meetings was 9 to 9, basically like Monday to Saturday. So it's from legals, from technical, from contractors, management, from consultant management, and all those, right? Then I got to know all these tips, but if you Google them, they are not online.
Wow.
So it's a privilege to have all this information, and I think that most of the people would want to know. But unfortunately, in the field, in the industry, professionals are trained to impress other professionals, especially like lawyers, engineers, and things like that. Right? I need to sound smart among my peers. So the papers that they publish, right, they only prefer white papers. They only prefer journalists and all this kind of thing. So normal people there's already a gap in trying to understand simple terms. Then somewhat the ego part of us, we want to sound really cool and really smart. No one wants to go down that route. So it's really weird that I look at property videos, right, in coat and suit and ties. I'm only with a t-shirt, and like what you say, I'm already drenched. And the weird part is like audience sometimes comment, Sean, can you just wear suit and tie to look better?
Why?
Yeah. So those are still people that I don't understand, but it's okay. Then at episode 8 or 9, I realized that because I was just starting with my iPhone 6.
Right.
So the worst comment back then, because I was fluffy, I was big, like 100 over kgs. I was using the back cam, and and those audience Sean, I really like your videos, I like your intention, but your face is just too big. I can't see whatever you're saying. So I will go hey, look at the living room behind, look at the dining room behind, but it's all my face in the frame.
Wow, you got some mean commentators,
Yeah, but that didn't hurt me. Then I continued on, and I realized that it's for me, because I take it as a documentation.
Right.
Because look at it, we rewind back, probably Gurus 5 years ago. I told you 5 years ago can buy. There's no documentation.
Right.
But now, right, we are today I think marks the 100 property review that I've done.
Wow.
So 100 episodes. But I visited 200 to 300 already. Because sometimes got security guards kacau, sometimes got...
Also, you don't record all the ones that you go
But sometimes it rains.
Okay.
Then sometimes battery failure, sometimes camera failure, technical failures.
Okay.
Yeah, so also due to my job in the makeover guys.
Right.
So we make over units for investors as well. So basically, every day is filming day for me.
Wow.
Every day. So every day I will be flying my drone around places and things like that. Yeah, so...
You're one-man team, right? Or you have other people?
So in the makeover guys, I have a few editors with me. Okay. But on my channel, it's all me.
Wow.
So sometimes when I go to developer office as well, they will make sure, Sean, where's your crew? What crew? crew. It's just me and a camera, that's it.
Yeah. But that shows how simple technology has made life to
Correct,
be. Like in the
correct.
past, if you think about it, you couldn't do this by your own.
Cannot.
You need one of those huge shoulder camera.
Yeah.
You need like someone to hold the lights and make you look a lot better on. Now everything is just so easy. You can record the whole thing with a phone too.
Yep.
It's crazy, isn't it? How fast technology has evolved.
And I'm totally trying to leverage as much as I can for this YouTube era, where I think when I started, everyone told me the same thing, like, because it's like no one's going to Google or no one's going to watch YouTube for property. It's all entertainment. It's like K-pops and kitten movies and stuff like that. Who's going to watch property? And look at yourself. So all this kind of personal attacks come. But then I realized that it's just to document.
Right.
Because the worst case that come to, like, nobody really watch, right?
Right.
My cucu cicit, meaning my grandchildren in the future, right?
Yeah.
Will know how their grandfather looked like
See
and
a
how
younger version of you.
Yeah, how he was trying to hustle through life and things like that.
But I think you're moving towards the right direction. In America, a lot of the top real estate broker, what they do is it's very common for them to do not only throw parties at particular houses, but they also film and then make it into an entertaining video.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I follow on YouTube, Ryan Sarhan. I'm not sure if you know. Met him once in New York City, and the way he does videos is really entertaining, and he's just really displaying what the house can do. And, I just don't get when people are very close-minded and, get to the point where it's like personally attacking. That's why they call them the trolls, the online trolls, isn't it? But I think it's great. I mean, if you're getting trolls, that means you're also getting fans. I always believe that you get 50-50. So let's just focus on the angels that come to you, isn't it? But I want to go straight to something that is really important, because you mentioned about property gurus, right? We are in a market in Malaysia where, I don't know about you, but I see a ton of seminars. I'm in a seminar business myself, but we focus more into business and social media marketing. But there are a lot of property gurus, and I've been to a property seminar myself, and that's what kickstarted me into property investment as well. And some of them talk a lot about concepts like no money down. You don't need to put money down. So I want to discuss a little bit about that, because when I mention no money down when it comes to property, some people immediately think scam. Doesn't work. Right? So I want to hear your perspective about no money down investment.
Okay, so there's two ways if you're looking into. So there's a few teaching. One is where you go to sub-sales. So sub-sales, how do you get no money down, is when the property is at a higher valuation, then you try to nego down the price of the owner. So you will come up with stories, hey, I'm trying to get married, so could you like reduce like 5% down, try just please, and you try to hustle through, and that you try to get the higher valuation from the bank. So those is actually legit. So that's the legit way.
So story to convince.
Yeah. So that is actually pretty obvious, but that requires a lot of hunting.
I think also you need really motivated seller, isn't it?
Yeah.
The seller must be like, I'm migrating now. I need to dispose my property. That kind of
so
situation.
those don't really come every day. So after that, people now go to new properties. So unsold properties are the main concerns for developers right now. So it's all cash flow, especially those fully constructed ones. So those are just like cows yet to be cashed out. So they will try their very best to liquidate. So they will get all this. Sometimes some gurus are really gurus, and I admire them for teaching their knowledge and stuff like that. But some are like super sales agents.
Super sales agent.
So what they are doing, they are tell you why you should buy, you motivate you until you really just try to look for an outlet to put your money in.
Right.
So they will come up with these kind of deals. So what they will do is they will go to these property developers. And you know what? I will take up 30 units from you, but I need a bundle price, maybe like 10%, 20% below market value. And I will get like 6 to 10% commission out of every unit.
That's a really high chunk of commission.
So with that, then I will bring to the students, you know what, because I'm so close with the developer, now everybody, if you sign up now, then you get this kind of price. So these few years, I would say like 5 to 6 years, the team has been easy ownership. Like to not use your own money, use other people's money, OPM and stuff like that, all the teaching, right? But that causes the price of property to be inflated.
So it's a bubble.
Not bubble, somewhat true, but it's like, this is not the worst. The worst is like not only zero money down, you actually get cash back.
Right.
You got no money today. You know what? You go and sign up for a property, you get 300,000 in your bank after your loan dispersed.
Right. So supposedly the 300,000 will be to cover The mortgage, I assume.
Yeah.
Because obviously, right now there's just so much property in the marketplace, especially around those new development, those price range. Where I mean, if you're in city center where you work next to Petronas Twin Towers, you want to export, that I get it. But we're talking about outskirts, right?
Yeah.
So those areas, I will assume there's oversupply. And when they get the keys, the VP situation, where they get the keys, supposedly, I guess they're using the cash rebate to cover the mortgages, right?
So there's again a few theories. Some is like because the property now it's let's say 1 million, but I will jack up to 1.5.
The property developer jack it up to 1.5.
Because banks will always want to loan more money.
Correct.
And the properties want to clear the stocks, and investors want to buy things without even cashing out. So without any cash out. So what they do is they use this formula and you buy a property today, you get the property and 30% cash. So the 30% cash, so because the property price is already inflated, when the property is handed over back to you, and in accordance to market valuation, your price will actually drop.
Correct.
So like your 1.5 million one actually only worth 900,000. Then many audience will then email me, yo bro, I just got the keys and I'm losing money. Then I will just reply back like, hey, let's talk about the cashback you got. So the cashback is actually, if you know how to play the game, so let's say 1.5 million, you need to pay the bank like 6,000-7,000 per month. You rent out at 3,500. So the outstanding 3,500 will be from the 300,000 that you cash out. So you can tahan, you can hold it for another 80 months, 100 months.
But I'm assuming with the 300,000 in a bank account, most people who don't have the mindset of success, they don't use it to cover the rent.
That's right.
Mortgage, right? They'll probably think, there's a discount on the BMW that's coming out.
So suddenly whole body itchy. So they'll be full with itch so they'll be victims of social media marketing.
Right.
Then their wife like, you know what, we have been a while since we last go for a vacation and things like that.
Right.
And that's not the worst though. The worst is now they are trying, so Malaysians are always very innovative with the financial system. At one moment of time, you can get more than one.
Wow.
So some are getting like a few. So imagine a person, I get 4 properties at once, trying to leverage on whatever system is there. So it's a flaw actually. But then opportunists will always take chances. Then 4 times 300,000 is 1.2 million straight in your bank account.
Wow.
And like you said, suddenly these people who are not educated enough, they have never seen so much money in their bank before.
Right.
They will go crazy. So I won't blame these kind of gurus or schemes, but I blame the discipline. They are just not experienced enough to manage.
They're not ready, isn't it? They're not ready for this kind of money. It's like the lottery winners, like if they win a lot of money, but they have never been disciplined in earning money or building their own business or investments, a lot of the time they'll just overspend, even if they win millions or ringgit out of lottery prize. This is really interesting because a lot of people, they're doing this strategy right now. But what do you think is going to happen to the property market? Like especially for younger people, millennial, we're talking like people who just come into work 2-3 years already working in the corporate world. Maybe they're 25, 26, 27, around this range, right below 30, maybe they're early 30s. They're looking to buy their first property, right? And property prices in Malaysia, from my perspective, I think it's a little bit of an overpriced. The main reason is because if you compare it ringgit Malaysia, which is extremely weak compared to it just doesn't make sense, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. If I'm a brand new millennial, I'm trying to invest in a property, where should I look at? How should I look at it? Do I look into new development? Do I do the no money down deal? Do I focus more on sub-sale? What's your advice for these people?
Because myself, I started my investment at 22, 23. So 23, 24, 25, 26, I bought one each year. But then, so back then, without the technology that we have now, I think that property is the way to go. Because it has already been 10 years from my first apartment and I'm seeing the results. There's no way I can save that amount of money in comparison to the price hike. However, with the current technology today, if I'm 28 again or if I'm 25 again, I will actually invest in myself first. Because once you lock down in a property, so let me go back. If you are ready, like you want to settle down, you know very well you're going to be in this corporate job for the rest of your life. So security is on your side, then go get property. So it's I break it down into 4 different steps. Number 1 is to know what's the purpose of the purchase. Are you buying it for own stay or are you buying it for investment? Because both of them requires different calculation. But if you're buying for own stay, as long as it's within your affordability, you like it, buy. Don't think about 10 years later what's going to happen, what's the rental rates and things like that. That's going to just tear you down. So number 2 is to find out how much loan you can get. A lot of people with their 4,000 or 5,000 income, they go and shop at 1.6 million houses, 1.7 million houses. Then, I really like it. Then when they go back to the houses that they can really afford, they lost appetite. Then step 3 is to actually visit more than 20 different properties just to figure out what you like. A lot of people would think like, I'm really into condos, but have you been to the best condos? Have you been to the worst condos within that price range? And you now have a lot of choices, which is in the outskirts. So I just went to Serena City, I went to Gamuda Cove, I went to Bandar Sri Sendayan in Seremban. So traveling takes the same time. Like from Seremban to Mont Kiara and from where we are, Kota Damansara to Mont Kiara, is the same time. So it's pretty crazy. But then 600,000, do you want to get a 1,000 square feet apartment or do you want to get a double-story terrace house? So now all those choices are open. And finally, is if you really find what you want, right, just make the best decision at that current moment of time.
Okay.
A lot of people will think, what if there's a better deal after I sign? What if the property drops when I buy? So I think that always cripples the young buyers.
They'll never do anything.
Yeah.
So they will never start because of their mentality, isn't
correct.
it?
So most of them just wait. And for my colleagues back 8 years ago, they were waiting for Setia Alam, which is one of the hottest terrace houses places. They were waiting, wait until I get my promotion, then I will get the house. So the duration of getting that promotion, by the time they get it, the house doubled.
Right. Oh. Did they get the promotion?
No. So it's a waiting game because it's easy.
Yeah.
And because at this generation, right, they are not renting. So most of them are actually staying with their parents in KL, the fortunate ones. So they have no urgency to actually get one. But it's a total different story for those who are from Ipoh, from Alostar, from outskirts, right? They are actually moving to KL. They already need to make rentals. So those, they have a higher urgency to actually get one.
Right.
So because every month they are already losing out. I need to pay 1,300 for a unit, regardless whether I'm taking any action or not. So I think that's good. But for investment, so that's a whole different school of thought. And for hardcore investors, so they go for courses. They very well know that this piece of property, I will never put in emotional thoughts to it. I will always look at the calculator. What's the ROI? What's the expected money outflow? Things like that, cash flow. Yeah. So my advice now, if you don't know, if you're in that category, then it's fine. But if you are not sure what you're going to do yet, keep some money on you, because now a simple podcast can make things happen. Like me with a simple camera walking around, some simple editings, it will turn your whole career apart. And those were not available 10 years ago.
So you're saying have a little bit of money stashed aside for simple side hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like something, whatever you're doing, like with the social media right now, you are not only educating, I think you're also learning a lot for yourself.
Yeah.
Number 2, I think it's also very good personal branding for you, isn't it? Like because of that, I think a lot of wealthy people, or as you say, the sophisticated or the seasoned investors, they come to you and be like, hey, Sean, I got this property. Can you advise me? And that also opens up your network too,
correct.
I'm assuming, because you're meeting people that you would never be able to meet unless you're doing what you're doing. So a lot of people, especially young ones, okay, let's talk about the young one, because I train a lot of these young people. They are difficult to train, and I'll tell you why. Because they always believe that things should be given to them.
Entitlement.
Yeah, the entitlement. And they are the ones that you said, staying with the parents, no urgency, they no motivation, but they just want to climb the ranks in the corporate world. That's it, right? So they are also coming to me and say, Desmond, I would like to buy property, but property prices is too expensive. So you think the problem stem from them looking at the wrong property?
I think because it's a very easy excuse not to take action.
Right, so it's a mindset issue. Go back to the mindset issue again.
Because like now, to me, I believe any time is the best time to buy,
Right.
and any time is the best time to sell. So
Okay.
it just based on whether are you a flipper or are you an investor. Like now, like after coronavirus, after the change of political,
Yeah.
everyone is like shaken, and I think now is a great time to go in. You can get the best deals because a lot of people would just want to let go and buy. But
Yeah.
in international point of view, like I'm receiving 20 to 30 emails a week from Hongkies, Chinese, Canada, US, all are trying to migrate into Malaysia because our properties are still dirt cheap in comparison to international cities.
Right.
And our infrastructure is one of the best if you compare to Thailand, compare to Southeast Asia. So I'm seeing, because we are now so blessed that all our information is at hand.
Yeah.
And for these kind of investors, young investors, I would say that it's a very easy excuse because they are just headline readers. Everyone says property is bad. And for media as well, I think a lot of media, they will put out the affordability issue. Or it's like 3 times your salary range, then if not, you cannot buy and things like that. But to me, it's very, I would say, attention grabbing.
Right.
It's very good for their media to get circulated around. But is that the real message you want to tell youngsters or not? We just rewind 10 years ago, you need like 18% down payment. People are still buying. Now you buy and you get cash back and you still cannot buy. So I think it's a mindset kind of thing because I still see a lot of people are buying. Just that those that are not buying are just louder. That's about it.
Right, right. Of course, in a lot of situations, what we need to understand is, as you mentioned, with the political turmoil and the virus situation, there's a Sun Tzu quote. He said that in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. So right now, in fact, it's one of the best times to actually go look into the sub-sale market, would you say so? Like maybe some people who are scared, or maybe with the ringgit devaluation, if you're making money from international currency, let's say you have a business in Singapore, a business in Thailand, right? Malaysia currency doesn't affect you that much. A lot of times, you get a pretty good deal in sub-sale as well. But let's discuss location. Right? A lot of people, said for real estate, the number one key things to look at is location. There's a lot of truth to that. So let's discuss in terms of location. What do you think is a great location that people should start looking into in Malaysia? Okay, and where are the places that you think people should just completely avoid?
I have this theory that the location is relative, and there has been a lot of phenomenon that in Malaysia that you can't really explain. Number one, the first example is Desa Park City.
Yep.
If you look into address, it's Kepong.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be.
Gangster area.
Yeah.
Then located in a valley divided by NKVE. The noise is terrible. Then if you look into accessibility, there's only one via the LDP small junction in with a few roundabouts before you can reach your house. It's terrible. But then branding, the best master plan with the lake treatments and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that worked. Then if you look into brand new areas such as those like placemaking companies, for example, EcoWorld, they will get a massive 4,000 acres, 6,000 acres land, and they start from scratch. So because of Setia Alam's story, if the first person that invested made, I think easily 6 times, 7 times the investment back in across like 10, 15 years. So with that kind of theories, they think that it all will work again. But my thoughts now with the current technology advancement, there's no more need to be in KLCD already. Like my office at the Makeover Guys, we practice flexi hours. So you don't really need to be in the office unless you really need to. And we don't have a clock-in hours. We don't have a clock-out hours. So there's no need to be in the city anymore. And then, excuse me, so what I think is going to be the next phase, right, it's that 600,000 that I mentioned. So because why 600,000 is because it's if a couple of 2%, if they are at managerial levels, I think it's very affordable at 600,000, and you can get a decent terrace house. So with that, right now, a lot of town planners, they actually know how to play the game already. So for example, like Gamuda Cove, which is a new city, Elmina City, Serenia, Gamuda Gardens, Bandar Seri Sendayan, and all having the same kind of a process. Just like back then is the Subang Jaya and Sunway. Sunway was perceived as a place that no one will ever go. It's too far. Subang Jaya was once too far.
Right.
Yeah, so I think in terms of location, right, if I'm having units around KLCC area right now, I'll be worried because most of the buildings are aging actually. So I've been to a few that 20 years ago it was the heat, but now the condition is not as great because maintenance is not the strongest part of Malaysians. Then if you look, the demographics there, all are expats. On the contrary, if you look into Mont Kiara, because of the migration of Japanese from OUG back then, the maintenance are excellent. The 15-year-old, 18-year-old buildings, right, it's impeccable. If you go into the lift lobby, the lift is still as smooth as ever. So those kind of, so if you look into locations, it's really depending on a lot of micro things. Like even in like one of the episodes that I made, in Mont Kiara, it's divided into which street you are. So Kiara 1, Kiara 2, Kiara 3, Kiara 4, you have different demographics and the price actually differs. So those are insights, right, that if you really do your homework, unfortunately, it's not on Google. So I'm doing my very best to actually uncover all this.
Yeah.
Like staying next to Tun Razak, Jalan Tun Razak, the main street, right? I would say it's a nightmare because what's the point being so close to the offices, but in your unit, right, you can still hear the traffic noise and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, so like when you say location, I think that's a very old story because of technology.
Right.
So like there's no more need to be close to office. So when people don't need to be close to office, they will then choose the ideal location they want to be. So it can be close to their parents. It can be close to their kids' education center. It can be close to the stadium that they like to watch football at. Like, so the variables and considerations are now different.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take.
But
though.
do you look into just the surrounding KL, BJ, Klang Valley area, or do you look into the outskirts? Because I was just at Alostar recently,
Yeah.
Sungai Petani recently, and I was shocked to see
Yeah.
so much developments going on. Like
Yeah.
they're not branded developers
Yes.
though, but they are a lot smaller developers. But I've just been so surprised to see a lot of their houses are nicer than a house in central KL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? What's your take on those like outskirt areas? Maybe even Penang,
Yeah.
JB.
So receive a lot of emails about this as well. A lot of expatriates want to retire in Penang and Ipoh because of the density. A lot of people would it's very convenient that sales agent, because of the commissions, right, they will always want to push KLCC properties. 3 million, 4 million, it's very easy to go. And then you push like, World Trade Center, the KLCC, wow, very sexy. But personally now, again, with information, expats are also getting smarter. Then they are now moving to Penang, I just met a developer from Alostar yesterday. So like, the beauty about Malaysia in comparison to Singapore is Singapore 95% government housing, 5% private housing. So that's why the private developers is very little. In comparison to Malaysia, that's why it's very good for me, 1,200 over developers in Malaysia alone. Anyone who wants to be a developer can be a developer as long as you are financially strong. So a lot of business people, illegal money incomes, they actually turn into developers. And now what they just need to do is they just hire architects.
Right.
There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Not like last time, it's all trade secrets. You need to figure out yourself. Now, all consultants are shared. Yeah, so a lot of movements are moving away, like Kuantan, like waterfront, that makeover guys actually go and furnish their property as well. So we are also requested to provide our services down in Johor and Alostar and things like that. I think as a retirement home, it would be very ideal. So I've been talking about this, like how do I downgrade? I would say upgrade my lifestyle by downgrading my work pace, which means like a dual income family. Now, if I only live on a single income family, I just need to move away, just by simply move to Seremban. Then a single working father can travel every day while my wife or vice versa lah. My wife can actually take care of the kids in the house that we invest. If not, right, two of us will invest in the same terrace house for 1.6 million. We need to work our face off every day. Then the children are not at home anyway. They will be at the babysitter.
Right.
So I'm looking into that actually. Would you actually downgrade yourself into a single income family?
So it's a synergy of lifestyle, family, hour span,
Yeah.
at work, hour spent with family, as well as hour spent, paying off the mortgage, right? Most people don't actually look into that. They just want to tell people that, hey, I have a condo, I have a unit in KLCC,
Yeah.
a unit in wherever, Monkiara, which is really, really interesting now that we talk about it. So I want to go back to one very important thing, which is a property agent. Malaysia is going through a phase where there are a lot of, again, I hate to just keep talking about young people, but majority tend to be young. They are now coming out to be a property agent, right? They have been recruited in a way that, I know this is nothing to do with property investment, but it's more towards like earning money. A lot of people have a second part-time job as a property agent as well. So every time I go to look at a property, the agent tend to be super young.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, the agent used to be really
Very old.
senior,
Yeah.
not old, I would say senior, experienced,
Yeah.
The agent nowadays, they are more scared of me, and then they are like,
Yeah.
they don't know what to do. Sometimes they can't even find the switch. It's really funny. But there's a new batches of people where they are all becoming like insurance agents, property agents. You want to give us some take about that? What's going on there? Because I think they're being recruited to join like some whole team and network and stuff like that.
Everybody
So
was taking videos, taking photos.
in suits and really expensive,
yeah.
in front of very expensive cars. Why is that? Why is so many young Malaysians doing that?
Lack of patience, because what they were promised when they were studying. So like for those who have not worked before, then after they graduate from their business degree, starting pay is 2005.
Right.
I can't even drink bubble tea every day in 2005.
Right.
So that expectation not met. So then allows them to resort to all these kind of quick schemes. So, and if you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to, you are not paying for your parents or you're not paying for yourself, all this then becomes more reasoning to join all this because it's all based on per deal close.
Right.
I was one of the agents as well, and back then it was really tough, very, very tough. I need to mix with all the seniors and things like that, and they will laugh at me at the same way that how we are laughing at them right now.
Wait, what year was this?
10 years ago.
10 years ago was not that bad. It was really bad 3 years ago, I would say, right?
Yeah. So I think my take is I very weirdly I encourage them to do so, but go in with the mindset of being very, very hardworking. Be the most hardworking person, because the only advantage that these young people have is the speed of knowledge. They can learn really, really fast. And if you really shadow somebody senior, right, you can learn really, really fast all the tacit knowledge that you can get. Number two is that the information that you can get. Those days, you can basically learn how to close deals via YouTube.
Yeah.
How to speak properly via Instagram and things like that. So all those, right, it's really whether you want to put in the hours and train yourself or not. And be a bit more patient, because everyone will look down on you when you're 18 trying to close a 1 million deal, right? I would say these are not agents. These are just admins.
It's kind of like assistants.
Yeah, meaning because in the future, we don't need to have salesperson anymore. I walk into a car showroom, I already know what color and what I want to buy, because all my research work are done prior to that.
Yeah.
I think that phase will also happen to properties. I already know what I want. I just go into the office and tell which unit you have left, and I'll just sign the papers. Maybe I don't even sign, because I can just straight away book online. So I would rather educate these people to focus on interpersonal skills, which I think they are actually really short of, and personal branding. They really think that that few posts on Insta story is going to make them famous. Yeah. So every time, if I were to go back to their age, right, I would just maximize myself online, because if you talk about real estate on offline, which is real estate, I think what's happening now is real estate online. The space and attention that you're available to grab, right? I think that is massive. So I would encourage them to work more online to build their knowledge and share among their peers. If you try to get 25-year-olds to understand insurance, right? Because yourself being a 25-year-old, you have empathy towards that. Like myself, a lot of people try to make real estate into a very sophisticated topic. I'm actually downplaying it. I'm using a lot of local jargons and local languages to make it easy to understand. So professionals may not like me, but I don't care. So my whole point is to make this topic accessible to all. So I think young people should also do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where's next for you? Now your channel is growing. Where's next for you?
Never really thought about it. Few VPs approached me. So they encouraged me to sell the channel in the future. Myself, I think, because my secret is to go until 1,000 properties. Then I can't wait for 20 years down the road. The only true blue property guru will only be me.
Right.
Just because I have the advantage of documentation.
Right.
So by then only maybe I'll retire in some property developers being the CMO and stuff like that. But currently I'm still trying to sustain a channel using my full-time job. A lot of people would think that I can get a lot of money doing advertisement and things like that. So I'm trying my best not to cash out that much right now. It would be very easy to just put in promotional items in my channel. So with that, right, I'm having that full-time job, so I have the freedom in speech. I can say whatever I want, post whenever I want. And currently, from ads, money is not that great, because a lot of people would think that YouTubers are making a lot of money. To me, it's just like $200 US dollars per month. But it's good enough for my Chinese New Year expenses. Yeah. So I think I will try to want to go more to low-cost housing, actually. I've been visiting a few top 1, top 2 buildings in KL. Those are very good for views, but I think in terms of value to audience, it's not really that direction that I want to pursue. I would really want to go down to affordable housing, go down to low-cost housing to see how are that level of people living. And for those that we already have a room in some apartment, right, we are already winning. We are already at the winning side of things. We should pursue more instead of just settle down and blame the world, victimize that, oh, economy very bad, I got no money to buy.
Right.
And well, you see how people are living. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get access to those government housing. Have some strings that I can pull, but trying to make the channel into a really, really value focus. Like for first-time home buyers, you come in, right? Because whether you buy or not, I just don't care. So with that kind of mindset, right, then I can be as honest as possible. Yeah, so I think that's the current direction for these few years, I guess, 2 to 3 years. And because my target has always been to upload at least 2 to 3 videos a week. And that has been my discipline for 2 years. But currently with the business picking up in the makeover guys, yeah, so that kind of crippled a little bit.
So let me ask you a quick question. This is just a random side note.
Yeah.
Going to the gym every day in the morning is harder, or making 3 videos a week is harder?
I would think it comes together though. The weirdest thing about going to gym, right, is that I find the discipline in practicing my career. Like now I'm into CrossFitting. It's very tough though. But the stamina, then I realize the dialogue that you have with yourself almost every day, that's the worst part about gym, and that's the best part about learning. Like your body tells you that, your mind tells you that after 5 km, right, bro, it's enough. Who are you trying to impress?
Yep.
Just let it go. You're alone. Who are you trying to impress? Just let go. But with my coach being there, I'm able to run 10 km in the morning, and that it's really similar in business as well. Where you think that you're just so tired, right? You just hold on to it. So sometimes the mind really do restrict what our body can do.
Yeah.
And then by weightlifting, the 100 kg barbell is never going to change.
Right.
It's just how you react to it. So like if you're being too full of yourself, then you'll be injured. But if you are sometimes being too humble, so to me, the channel happens at the same time when I was trying to cut down my own weight. So I was like 100 kg. So now I don't know when I since last weigh, but I can do a lot of pull-ups right now. And in most of the videos that I go, when I try the gym or the playground, right, I get to pull myself up, which is pretty cool. So some jokes of the audience as well. I've seen Sean do 1 to 100 episodes.
Yeah.
I've also seen him drop from 100 kg to. So now the frame can actually accommodate my face right now. Yeah. And
Is it the same person that actually commented about the face in the first few episodes?
I don't know where they are already, but I really want to look at them and.
It would be funny if they are a lot bigger in person too. It would be funny. But online you always get throws, and being a YouTuber is not easy, I assume, especially when you get like really funky comments from people.
Yeah.
And the worst part about all these comments, the people that leave the bad comments about you, personal attacks, they don't have their face on the thumbnail thing, and then you go to their channel, there's nothing there. So you'll be like, of course you can do this when you're anonymous, right?
Yeah, but what I also realized, right, when a lot of people are trying to say bad things about you, but I do think the internet is a very beautiful place though, but a lot of encouragement. If you just that when we focus, like we will look at the amount of likes, like 300 over likes on YouTube, then there's like 2 dislikes. It's very by default of us to go and look at that 2 dislike. Why would people dislike this video? Why would they put in the effort in pressing dislike instead of just scrolling to the next video, So that's by default. So I always say that property, right, will grow wheat by default. You don't need to really like take care of it to grow wheat. So just like our mindset though, we need to really be actively positive. We need to put in effort in remaining the energy level all the day. So like myself, I wake up at 5 every day, sleep at 12 or 1.
Wow.
So
how do you do that?
I don't know. So like good nutrition, very strict routines. So like I'm able to squeeze in. That's how I'm able to squeeze in everything lah.
Wow.
So a lot of people would think that the first thing to give away is workout. I think that's very wrong. I think that is very, very wrong. By working out, right? Like the first 6 weeks, right, it feels like hell, the energy level. But then when you get used to it, right, the energy level is really like I can easily tapao the Sean 3 years back right now.
And CrossFit is not easy too. It's one of the tougher form of physical exercise. And you chose the tougher ones right away.
No, it was by accident, but
It was by accident.
but it's very fun though. I really think it's really, really fun.
I have this philosophy. I believe that everybody has to work out, whether you're fat, skinny, muscular, you have to do it. It's not so much about getting the form that you want. It's more like, I believe that people who have been in the military, they tend to be a lot more successful, and that's the reason why. Because they wake up at 5, 6, 7, right? And they do the same thing. They believe in routines, and they will work out. And I believe workout is the closest thing that any civilians can be to becoming like a military person. Where every morning you wake up at 5:30, you go to the gym, but before anyone else have been woken up, and you got 2-3 hours done before your competitor have even woken up. And for some reason, I wake up early in the morning and I go to the gym, and I'm done with the gym. I feel like I have a lot more time in the day. But there are sometimes when I come back from another country, let's say I'm jet lagged, I wake up at like 10 o'clock, I'm like, man, half the day is gone. Right? Because by the time you shower and get your breakfast or lunch or whatever, it's already like lunchtime, 2 p.m. So I believe in waking up early. I'm glad you said that as well. I think it just reinforced the positive mindset. So now we're going to end the podcast here, but before we go, how can people find out more about you?
You just type in my name, Iherng, on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Spotify. So you can just find me there. And my spelling is the only one in the world. So like my website is iherng.com.
Right.
Which is .com is very, very difficult for those who understand website names, right?
So I, right? E is
Yeah.
Iherng. So iherng.com.
Yeah.
So they can find out more about you, and you make a lot of property videos. Oh, you also do Q&A.
Yeah.
I remember, right? You read some emails from your
Yep.
audience. So those are really helpful for those of you who want to invest in property investments or want to get involved in anything related to real estate or even ID too. You talk a little bit about interior design, right?
Yep.
So I think those are really important stuff. So make sure you follow Sean. Great content, one of my favorite YouTuber. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right.